Hi everyone, Chris here with another live lesson, part 3, I think, of this week's mini lessons on IELTS writing and how to get a 7 or above. So we did task achievement and we did coherence and cohesion yesterday. So today we're going to focus on vocabulary, and then finally tomorrow we're going to do grammar. So what else do I need to talk about today? We'll be discussing the giveaway. I'll be giving away one free course, and I'll give you more information about that at the end of the lesson. So I can't read your comments while I'm teaching, while I'm talking. So if you have any questions, just leave them until the end, and I will try my best to answer them at the end. If I don't, I will try to just reply in the comments to them. But we're getting a series, so many comments these days. Please keep them coming, and I will get back to you if you have any questions or anything like that. Really appreciate all the comments and the shares and the likes and everything. Ramandeep, hello Ramandeep. Okay, so what are we going to discuss today? So if you haven't been watching this week, what I've been doing is working with you to help you get a 7 or above in IELTS writing. So there are 4 things that you need to worry about. You need to worry about task achievement. We did that on Tuesday. Coherence and cohesion, we did that on Wednesday, yesterday. And today we're going to work on vocabulary. So the next 10 minutes or 5 minutes, however long it takes me to do this, we're going to focus on vocabulary. So Ramandeep, need 8 in every module. Rio, how to use content words. Okay, leave your questions until the end, and then I'll deal with them. Because I'm going to start teaching now, and once I get into a flow, if I see lots of questions, it will make it, I'll sound terrible. Okay, so I'll answer your questions at the end. So what do you need to do in order to get a 7 or above for vocabulary? So 2 main things you need to worry about: range and accuracy. This is kind of the same for grammar as well. So you need to have a range of different words. You need to show the examiner that you have a range of vocabulary, that you have, that your vocabulary is good, but you also need to be accurate. So there's a bit of a tension there, because what happens, most students try to focus on the range, and what will happen is the more range you show, the more likely you are to make mistakes. And that is a big thing. That's the one thing that you should take from these lessons this week, is if you're trying to use language that is way above your level, that you don't really know how to use, you're going to make lots of mistakes. What happens when you make lots of mistakes? You get low marks. It's really simple. So what I see students doing is, so I mark essays every single day, and the most annoying thing, and if you ask any IELTS examiner, what's the most annoying thing about marking IELTS tests, writing tests, it's students trying to use complex, high level, whatever you want to call them, words, and just failing miserably, not being able to use that language. There is no point in you using really high level language if you don't know how to use it. So at its worst, what it will do is, if you're using lots of phrases and words that you don't really know how to use, the examiner will not be able to understand anything. It will stop them understanding what you're trying to say. So if you try to do that, you will not only get low scores for grammar and vocabulary, but you'll also get low scores for task achievement and coherence and cohesion, because the examiner has no idea what you're trying to say. And that's where you're getting the band 5. If you're getting band 5 and you think that you are learning, you're using this really high level language, and you're still getting a band 5, it's probably because you're making lots and lots of mistakes. Does that mean that you should use really simple vocabulary? No, use the vocabulary that you're comfortable using, and use it accurately. And if you do that, your marks are going to shoot up. So Let's get into this in a bit more detail. So if you talk to most IELTS candidates and you say like, what's the key to getting a high mark for vocabulary in the writing test, they'll say things like use high-level words, use complex words, use academic words. And what they normally do is they go to a website or their teacher gives them a list of these high-level academic complex words, and they learn all of these words, but they don't learn them properly. And what they do is they just insert them into their sentences, into their paragraphs, into their essay, and they make no sense. And they make lots of mistakes. Like they make mistakes in nearly every single sentence, and your essay just means nothing. So you need to stop doing that. Unless you know how to use a word 100%, don't use that word. What does 100% mean? So it means that you know the spelling, you know the meaning, you know how you use that in a sentence, you know the grammar, you know the collocations, you know the synonyms, you know the antonyms, you know every single thing about that word or phrase. You're not taking any risks. If you take big risks in the writing test with your words, then you're going to fail. Like I've already got a question here. How can we find academic words? I'm trying to explain to you that you should not be using really high-level academic words. Use the words that you already know. Whoever you are, you will not be the first person to ask that question. Like people just don't listen, and they think that all you need to do is learn a list of words and use them. It's like the worst thing that you could ever do. So don't worry. We'll talk about how you can learn words properly and how you can learn words, learn phrases and everything in this video. So don't worry if you're thinking like, well, how do I know them? So the examiners aren't looking for, see somebody outside on the river. I see somebody's on a jet ski out on the river. I would not want to be on a jet ski in that river. It's not the cleanest river in the world. Just thought it was a funny thing going past. Alright, so what was I saying? Alright, talking about how to learn words properly. So remember, range versus accuracy. You're going to have to show a range, but you're also going to have to be accurate. So there's no point in showing lots and lots and lots and lots of a range of words if you're getting them all incorrect. So if you're wanting to get a 7 or above, like the majority of your sentences, like more than half of your sentences, need to be accurate. They need to have no vocabulary mistakes in them. So if you look at your essays and you're getting, a 6 or a 5, I guarantee that for vocabulary you have mistakes in nearly every sentence because you're trying to use vocabulary that is really well beyond your level. If you look at a good band 7 essay or a good band 8 essay, one thing that I used to do with my students would be that I would give them band 7 essays, band 8 essays, band 9 essays, and I would say to them, what level do you think the vocabulary is in these essays? And what would happen would be they'd all say, this is a band 5 essay. The vocabulary is so simple. You would be surprised at the level of vocabulary required to get a band 7. I'm not saying that it's super simple, but it's way below the level that you think. So it's far more important to use words and phrases accurately if you want to be getting a band 7 than to show that you know like the most complex, complicated words in the world. You only need to worry about that if you're looking at band 9, and even then you don't, not every word needs to be really complicated. One thing that you do need to worry about are some things called topic-specific words. What are topic-specific words? So, topic-specific words are a way that the examiner will be able to assess your vocabulary level. Because if you can talk about a range of different topics, so especially in the speaking test, they're going to be asking you about many, many different topics. If you have words that you can use to discuss all of those different topics, it means that you have a wide-ranging vocabulary. So what are topic-specific words? Basically, they are words that you use to talk about or write about a particular topic. So let's use the example of global warming. If your question was on global warming, you're going to be using words like climate change, carbon dioxide, carbon emissions, melting of the polar ice caps, flooding, what else? Heating of the atmosphere. You wouldn't use polar ice caps melting to talk about your house or traffic or food or something like that. You would only use those topic-specific words to discuss those topics. So use simpler words than you're using right now. Use them accurately, but try to use also topic-specific words, and that is really, really, really going to help you. And if you know those words 100% and you use them in your essay accurately, then you're going to be getting 7, 8, or 9. How do you learn those words? Very, very simple. I have a really simple technique. It's simple, but it's time-consuming. Every day, go to the BBC or the Guardian or CNN or something like that, and you will see at the top all of the common IELTS writing topics: the environment, technology, education, what else? Crime, politics, all of these things that come up again and again and again on the IELTS Writing Task 2. Then all you do is click on that, read the article, underline or highlight or write down the topic-specific words, write those down in a book, learn them 100%, which means write the meaning, write the, sorry, I'm getting so many updates, I have to do it. Write the meaning, write the pronunciation, using them for the speaking test, write the spelling, of course, the collocations, the synonyms, the antonyms, example sentences, collocations, everything you need to learn that word 100%. Regularly check those words, regularly review those words. And if you do that for 6 months, you will have a huge book of words that you use. And I guarantee if you do that every day for 6 months and you learn 10 to 20 words, you will have no problem getting a 7 or above for vocabulary, because you just will have so many topic-specific words. You will use them accurately. You'll know them 100%. Is that an easy fix? Absolutely not. It is not an easy fix. It will take you a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is that you need to do. But it means that you will pass the exam. I was talking to a lot of people yesterday that have done the test 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. It would have been better if those people had learned what they need to learn properly in the beginning, spent a bit of extra time, and then passed it first time. You don't want to spend, well, how much? If you do the test 20 times, it's like $150. I'm not very good at maths, but that's a lot of money. It's like thousands of dollars you just spent on your IELTS test. I'm not saying you will fail 20 times, but it does happen sometimes. The other thing that people don't do very well with vocabulary in the writing test is synonyms and paraphrasing. You're going to have to vary your language. So if there's some keywords, you're going to have to use synonyms. You're going to have to paraphrase the question. In order to do that, you need to have a good vocabulary. But what people do is they try to change every single word, and that means that they are using words that they think might work, but don't work at all. So, for example, there are some words that you just can't change, that you can't vary. But some people have been told by teachers that you cannot repeat any words. So what they do is they force themselves to use a different word, a different synonym or something like that, and they mess it up completely. I see this every single day. It would be better if you repeated a word than to use a word that is just completely wrong. Am I saying that you should never vary your vocabulary? No, vary it as much as possible, but do not vary it if you have no idea how to vary it. Okay, and people just are obsessed with not repeating any words. Every day I make like live lessons and I'm writing out live essays, and if I repeat a word, everybody goes, "Oh, you repeated a word, you're terrible, you don't know what to say." Like, no, because there's no way to vary that word. Like the United Kingdom is the United Kingdom. You could say something like, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England, you might be able to say the UK, but after you've varied it 3 times, you can't vary it a 5th, a 6th, a 7th time. Sometimes it's okay just to repeat a word. So, to summarize, what I'd say is focus more on accuracy than range. Have confidence in the range that you already have. Focus on getting the words correct, the phrases correct. Focus on topic-specific words rather than these random academic words. Know what you're saying. Don't take any risks. Only write things that you know 100%. Take a long-term view of learning vocabulary and focus on the common topics. And what else? Don't vary your language so much. Feel free to repeat some words sometimes. Okay, so Huang Nguyen says, so general. If you think that's general, then go and look at some of the other stuff that that other teachers say and come back to me. Priscilla, what should we do if we actually have an idea to write but forget words that we want to write? I don't really know what you mean by that. A lot of people say that to me. And they say, I have an idea, but I don't know what words to use. Probably you're trying to think of complex vocabulary. If you just simplified what you were going to say and say it in a simpler way, you'd probably be fine. Priscilla, try to express it in a simple way and an accurate way. Like the number one thing that you could do in the test is clearly answer the question. Most people do not clearly answer the question. Lots of people include these crazy academic, high-level, complex words that mean nothing. They get them all wrong. They don't answer the question, and I think that's how you do it. And then they don't get the score that they need, and they're like, oh, how did I not pass? Because you didn't even answer the question. It would be better if you used simpler language and you answered the question clearly, and then you're talking about getting the scores that you need. On writing, did they really pay attention to spelling? Yep, they do. Prakash, how to minimize grammar errors? Tomorrow, we'll talk about that tomorrow. There'll be a whole video on that tomorrow. Annie, how to make the ideas into structure sometimes mess up the ideas. Look at yesterday's video on coherence and cohesion. Vanit, how to write examples in body paragraphs for band 7. Very, very simply, think of what you want to say and then write one of 2 things. Recent research has found, and then just plus what you want to prove and use an example. Make up an example. It doesn't even have to be a real example. Or you could say a recent study showed that, and plus the thing that you want to prove. And you can just make up whatever it is. It's fine to make stuff up, as long as it's plausible, as long as it's believable. Ty, if the topic is unfamiliar or we don't know anything about the topic, how do we deal with this situation? You will always be familiar with the topic. If you see a question and you think, I don't know anything about this topic, it's probably a fake question. There are many, 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 many fake questions out on the internet and produced by schools and whatnot. And because they don't understand IELTS, they write really complex questions. If you look at real IELTS questions, ones that have been, created in Cambridge, they are about things like technology, health, education, crime. If you don't know about those basic topics, then don't bother even doing the IELTS test. Like, if you know nothing about education, but you've been in school for 18 years and you still know nothing about education, if you think that you know nothing about technology, but you're watching this on a smartphone and you're on Facebook every day and you're constantly reading news about technology and everything, give up. Like, don't bother. But for most of you, you'll be absolutely fine. Chris, simple language, as you say, but we need to vary our vocabulary. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. when I say simple vocabulary, I'm not talking about every word is it, than, but, really, really small, simple words. I'm just saying use the vocabulary that you have. And by doing that, you will show a broad range of vocabulary. Have faith in the vocabulary that you have. Always work on improving it. But, so you have a choice. You can do two things. You can write the vocabulary that you know accurately, or you can try and use vocabulary that you don't know how to use and make lots and lots of mistakes. Which one do you think is better? Okay, if you can answer that question, you'll be fine. If you can't answer that question, you need to think about it a bit more. Okay. How to manage time for task 2? Know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to run out of time. If you do know what you're doing, you know exactly what to do, then you are going to finish it properly. Like if you know that how to analyze the question, how to plan out your answer, how to write an introduction, how to write main body paragraphs, how to write a conclusion, how to do that for any question, you should be doing that really, really quickly. Think about it this way. You have 40 minutes to write a task 2 essay. Say if you plan for 10 minutes, like a lot of time, that leaves you 30 minutes. And say you check your work for 5 minutes. That's 15 minutes just not writing. That leaves you with 25 minutes. So say that your essay is 13 minutes long. Sorry, 13 sentences long. Can't talk. If you spend 2 minutes on each sentence, which is more than enough, you're going to finish it in 26 minutes, so 41 minutes. But that is like planning for 10 minutes and checking your work for 5 minutes. You shouldn't really need that amount of time to do that. How can I get a score of 7 at writing? This is what these videos are all about, Saeed. So watch the last couple of days' videos. Sometimes it feels hard to get ideas in 2 minutes time. Why are you doing it in 2 minutes? Sorry, Facebook, I'm gonna kill Facebook. For some reason, Facebook have messed up the comments for the Facebook Live. It used to be that you could scroll through them. Now when you find a comment in the past, it just immediately brings it back down and you can't read it. So the people that have asked questions, I'm really, really sorry, but Facebook won't let me look at them in the Facebook Live. I don't know why. Blame Mark Zuckerberg. Thank you, Chris. I have an exam on Saturday. What should I do in the last 2 days? You can't do anything in 2 days. IELTS is a very, very long, complex topic that takes months, not days. Do your best. I'm sure you'll be fine, but I can't tell you anything that's going to help you in 2 days. I have problems with sentence construction and organizing ideas. What can I do now? Sentence construction, know what each sentence is doing. So what are you doing in each sentence? Are you giving an opinion? Are you outlining your main ideas? Are you writing a topic sentence? Are you giving an explanation? Are you writing a example? Are you summarizing your main ideas? What are you doing in each sentence? When you know that, it makes everything much easier. So do that. Saeed, I have some problems in speaking. We're not talking about speaking, we're talking about writing. If you need help with speaking, go to IELTSadvantage.com and go to the speaking section. Ramadeep, how long does it take to score 7.5 and 6.5? I have no idea. Everyone is different. Some people it will take 1 week, some people it will take 10 years, and everyone else is in between. So no idea. Simple words in writing and speaking can get 6.5. It depends what you mean by simple words. This is a huge problem. What people think simple and complex are, and that's the main problem. People think complex words are like these crazy academic words that are 13 words long, and they think simple words are it, but, and 3. There's a complete misconception about what simple words are and what complex words are. Sanya, what podcast would you recommend? whichever ones you like. Do not listen to an English learning podcast that bores you. Listen to a podcast that you enjoy. If you enjoy something, you'll learn from it, and you'll stick at it. Do things that you enjoy. I know IELTS is really boring. Believe me, I know that more than anyone else in the world. But make it easy for yourself by using things that you enjoy to practice. Just what is the best link for IELTS? So you're on a Facebook page called IELTS Advantage, which is all about, linked to a website called IELTSadvantage.com. What do you think I'm going to say? For writing task 1, conclusion is required or not. You write an overview for task 1 academic. You do not write a conclusion. Conclusion is your opinion. You do not include your opinion in task 1 academic. Razan, how to prepare for the exam well? Could you ask me a general question, Razan? Go to IELTSadvantage.com and you'll get lots of help there. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'll be posting later on today about the free giveaway. I'll email everyone and I'll post it on this page. Thank you to everybody who commented and showed up live. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you again later. Bye bye.